Welcome back to the table, friends. I'm your humble host, GreyDMs, and with me as always is Owen.
Hi. What's so funny?
Me and Owen have been doing some soul searching recently, and we decided that we wanted to talk to you about a topic which is bright and shiny and fun.
Yeah, that'd be a nice change.
Yeah, so let's talk about enjoying things.
Yeah.
So the purpose of this podcast is
Dungeon Crawler Carl, because I really enjoyed Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Get in the comments, join the Princess Posse or the Donut Holes. You know who you are. Put yourself in order. No, today we want to talk about, like, why do we play TTRPGs? Or more importantly, why do people play TTRPGs? And why is understanding why your players are at the table so important in maintaining their fun and your fun? So,
my fun is your discomfort.
That is sometimes the truth you have to learn. So to put this in a different context, we're going to start talking about how dividing people up and the table into types of players, while it's not the final piece of information you need, it can sometimes give you an insight of understanding why their needs may not be met and why sometimes you get into arguments over GURPS. Different systems and weird ways and I don't understand it.
We're going to play GURPS again.
I have no doubt that at some point we are going to play GURPS again. I figure it's one of those moments where I, like, in the old folks' home, I come out of the fugue of dementia or whatever, and I realize that you've gotten to me into play GURPS, and I'm just like, no, rebel.
I'm sorry, you didn't have enough points to purchase Rebel as one of your stats.
Okay. So, like all nerds, we want to try to classify people into little distinct holes. So there is a trend for anybody who knows about TTRPGs to eventually come up with some sort of list that defines the taxonomy of players.
Is this like a Facebook quiz?
Kind of, yeah. There's a bunch of them out there.
Put your first name, your last name, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. We'll tell you what type of D&D character you are.
Into the comments, yeah. So this particular thread that we're going to be exploring today goes all the way back to the 1970s, actually. There's a gentleman by the name of Richard Bartle, who is a British game researcher and developer best known for his pioneering work in the field of multiplayer online games. Now, Mr. Bartle, in the 1970s, co-created Mud 1, the multi-user dungeon, the world's first virtual multiplayer environment, laying the foundation for modern MMORPGs. In the 1990s, as these multiplayer games grew in complexity, Bartle sought to better understand player behavior, so he basically took a bunch of his observations and he developed a taxonomy of player types, which he basically first published in 1996. His goal was to categorize players based on their in-game motivations and interactions, identifying patterns that would help game developers design more engaging experiences. More work has been done to this in the realm of Magic the Gathering. There's a whole thing that you can't really spend much time in like the Magic scene without hearing about, like, the 3 types of players, which I think are now expanded onto the 6 types of players, because that's what happens with these things. But basically, he kind of started the framework of trying to identify the needs and the characteristics of people so that we can better suit our games to them. So a initial extraction of what he did into TTRPGs basically breaks into this concept of 4 different types of people. So we're going to go over them, and then eventually we're going to go to what I think is a better but not definitive list.
Okay.
So first, bear with me, this is kind of a simplified list.
Bearing.
So he identified a group called Achievers. In TTRPG terms, this has been adapted to be in something called Levelers.
Okay.
Because you got a level. So levelers love progress and accomplishment, focusing on mastering mechanics, completing quests, and obtaining powerful loot. They enjoy optimization, leveling up, and earning in-game rewards. So GMs can engage achievers by creating clear goals and meaningful challenges with measurable progression. So basically, this is a archetype where they're, like, they probably gravitate to games like Dungeons and Dragons that have a concrete way to explain power creep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a large portion of their focus. They're very keen on, like, how much experience are we getting? When do I get my milestone thing? Can I get that new class ability?
You get enough XP to level up. You get enough XP to level up. Killing that guy gives enough XP to level up.
Exactly. But it's, you can clearly, it's like a mechanic focused drive on, like, this concept of growth.
Yeah.
Another type is the adventurers, or otherwise known as explorers. Adventurers are curious players who delight in uncovering hidden details about the world, its lore, and its characters. They thrive in games that emphasize exploration and deep world building. So to satisfy adventurers, GM should create rich settings and opportunities for discovery. So these are people that might like adventuring systems that are heavily narrative-driven, such as Numenera or The One Ring, which are attached to, like, rich lore worlds and have expansive and intricate kind of plethora of the setting information that can drive their exploration. Then there is the immersive, also known as the socializer. Immersives prioritize interaction, role-playing, and character development over mechanics. So they find fulfillment in cooperative storytelling and thrive in games that emphasize social dynamics. For immersives, the game's social structure and relationships between characters are paramount. So they tend to excel in games like Fate, Vampire, Fiasco, or basically any cooperative storytelling system that prioritizes, basically storytelling and relationship building over mechanics. And finally, the fourth archetype was warriors or killers. So warriors are competitive and dynamic thinkers. They seek opportunities to gain the upper hand in battles, outsmart opponents, and defeat the enemy. In a TTRPG, warriors enjoy combat-driven challenges, but will also find many games and skill style challenges interesting. So these are best fit in combat-heavy games like Shadowrun, or basically games that get very tactical and very kind of, basically combat heavy.
Yeah.
So already you can see that there are those four archetypes that are described. All of players cannot possibly accurately define every single person.
Yeah.
But the idea is that by defining an archetype, you generally can identify some parts of what attracts a player to the table. And then you can kind of see what parts of your players line up with those things. So before we go into the kind of advanced typology that we're going to kind of talk about here, I was trying to figure out with one of our players why they may not be so in tune with some of the games that we've been playing recently. And so, crudely drawing on a sheet of paper, I identified a couple of pillars, and this kind of backs that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I tend to think of the pillars of a TTRPG as playing with toys in a system. And I think this is probably more accurate after reading this as gameplay.
Yeah.
This is the gameplay pillar of the system. And the gameplay pillar of the system encompasses the attraction to do new cool things, play with mechanics, the leveling system, challenge, competition, all the parts that are the game part of a TTRPG. The second pillar is story. So this is really narrative. This is lore. This is that kind of portion of people like trying to dig deeper, understand things. They want to be part of a rich, growing story. They want to be involved in evocative settings and places. And so this is more story. This is more keeping along with the story itself. The third one I came up with was setting. And that might be where mine breaks down a little bit. But I thought of setting more as like a theme park.
Okay.
So there are some players that really, it doesn't matter what the setting is. They want to follow the story. They want to kind of watch people grow, change, form relationships. And then there are the people who want to dig into the story, like the setting, the archaeology. They want to like walk around. And this may be because it's their favorite thing. You can better understand the difference between the two when it becomes a setting that's familiar. Like, although both types may enjoy like a game in like the Star Wars universe, one of them is there because of lightsabers and the Force, and the other one's there maybe despite it.
Yes. Again, I like a lot of things about Star Wars. You could throw out the Jedi and I would be perfectly happy with it.
Heretic.
Anyway. I think there's so much more going on than just the Jedi.
Well, I think there is. I think it's just
and I think it's the least interesting part of it.
Yeah, that's where I disagree with you. Space Wizards are awesome.
Fine. Some people can be wrong.
And so I think the final part is the final pillar. I thought was basically being a different person or playing a role.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a lot of different things. It could be the actor, be the person who's like, this is why I think you're always talking about a combination of them. So like a person who wants to put on a different persona, they want to craft a different persona than show it to people, or the person who's just working through stuff and they want to like this. And I was trying to explain all these pillars of why it's different, why some people need to feel this way. And one of the ways to do this is kind of to look at your own kind of behavior and try to see like what you're attaching to. So I think one of the things about being a role-playing game is allowing yourself to isolate a part of life and interact with it in a way that is not directly consequential, to your stuff.
Yeah.
Like getting angry, which we saw last time, or getting sad, or practicing something. They say this is really good for teenagers and for like preteens because they can basically, without consequences, explore like these sides of themselves and also explore the reactions of their fellow people. Like I know for sure I really needed to know when I was younger that people don't care what you feel.
Yeah.
like finding people who do is more important than just telling everybody how you feel.
I have to say, one of the a moment that made me uncomfortable, and it was between you and your wife. And I thought, this is a great piece of role play that's happening right now. It's disturbing. It's happening between a man and his wife, but literally his character is saying in no uncertain terms, if you don't stop, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, so you're going back to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awesome. And at the same time, I hope no lasting repercussions come from this.
And every time I've had one of those moments, because in this past game, when we were playing Werewolf, like I blew up and I yelled at her.
Yeah.
She's right there. And like I said, there's always this part of me that's like, as soon as that starts happening, this other like disconnected part is like, I'm the referee. I am going to start I'm going to start watching what you're doing. And when I throw the flag, you're just going to stop. And like, the only thing I really don't like, well, there's a difference of like, I don't think that there are many other people at the table that want to do that.
Yeah.
It is something I like feel good doing because it's not something I do like control is very important. And in this case, when playing a hot-headed kid, I felt it really necessary that my character needed to go through it once because he needed to basically be confronted with like I can't control myself.
Yeah.
And I think it was in a good way rather than like, oh, like I murdered someone and it got away from me.
Right.
In this case, it was like, oh, I have a problem. And for me to be a functional person, like I know I'm kind of a rage addicted person.
I mean, it's not like I've watched you play Warhammer and start punching a chair because the dice just didn't do what you wanted.
Well, that was more frustration. Frustration is my weakness. But this rage thing was more of like, I was really trying to push the character. And then there's this whole like other side of you that you're like, okay, like this is cringy. Like where is the line? Where do I need to stop it? Where is it acceptable? And I kind of felt okay with it the way we did it this past time because I really did feel like I was in constant control of like I'm doing this for an effect, but like I am just doing the character, and I'm doing it because I want this character to go through this kind of this feeling like he's like, I don't have any control here, we went out to this horrible place and we couldn't change his ideal, like his tribe is supposed to be this concept of protecting the places he cares about. And so he has this connection, with his family that involves like basically the national forest. And he finds a piece of the national forest that's being corrupted. So like he has all this naked aggression that's coming out. And he's like, why aren't you guys fighting for this? And it's like, well, because we're going to die if we go, But like, also like it's a werewolf. Like that's his job is to go die. Like, is to go fire up and die.
It's funny too, because I think the game master was probably perfectly happy to let us go do that.
Oh,
too.
Yeah. We were pushing. Like, I was like, you guys need to stop this. I'm like, my character does not want that to happen. He wants to end right now. Like, anyway. But yeah, so I think that you're right, that the game that we played where I was just like, very careful. My character at this moment is...
Yeah, no, that was... I've brought it up before in the past where I was just like, that was really good, but I was uncomfortable the whole time it was happening.
Yeah, spouses at the table. But it's part of the thing is like you have to, that's why session zero is why all these things are important, is you have to like define lines.
Yeah.
And honestly, after that specific session, there was a discussion in the ride home. I was just like, are you okay? Like, are we both okay? Like, because specifically, especially in the context of like a husband and wife, it can very easily feel like you're pushing them around.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not, these are characters in a game. And like, fortunately, in this particular matchup of these two characters, one of them is just incredibly violent psychopath. And the other one is poking around in their history.
Yeah.
And like, doesn't. So yeah, it's anyway. All right. So let's get back on track from that interlude that probably you guys don't care about. So if you have these 4 pillars, right, of gameplay that we're kind of talking about here, or at least these 4 things and people interacting with them, then we have to start thinking about, okay, so like what types of people interact with these and in what kind of order? Or what are their like main things that they go for? What are the things that they're vaguely interested in? What are the things that they just don't care about? So the purpose of typology revolves around the 4 main dimensions of role-playing. The game, that is to say the rules and the mechanics, action, resolution, the interpretation of a role, their narrative, a story, and socialization intrinsic to the fact that bringing humans together around the table. So their version, they kind of took the setting and turned it into socialization, and then they rolled story and setting together. So let's talk about the people who are there for the game.
Yeah.
So the first one is the engineer. The optimizer or power gamer who wants at all costs to make his character stronger, more powerful. For him, the concept of success is defined by the rule system you uses. So we're talking about a competitive player who tends to see his character as a machine, a collection of special abilities that he must optimize to be ever more efficient, particularly in combat situations. He scrutinizes the rules to find ways to exploit them, to find loopholes to increase his abilities. He therefore focuses particularly on the mechanical aspects or the game of role-playing. Role-playing is quite secondary for him. Does this sound familiar to anybody? So when preparing for an engineer, you do need to know the system's rules carefully. This is the thing they're asking you to contend with, to wrestle with them on. So you need to be firm but fair in the application of the rules, because basically if you allow them to exploit the rules, they're going to quickly just ramp out into a place where you no longer have control. Plan to give them magical items or special abilities, basically things that they will see as strengthening their character, but like usually build in some sort of mechanism.
Yes.
This is where the concept of risk reward often comes in. I love giving a player the ability to kill themselves. Like, just to ramp out of control, or to like, just be like, look, this is this thing I'm going to give you, but it may be the thing that you use to blow up your character by mistake. And then if you want them to push them to interpret their character more, include mechanics that reward interpretation. Like some systems have like heroism points. But be careful to not let that unbalance the system because they will exploit any flaw that they can find. So next we have the Brawler. After a long day of work, the Brawler primarily wants to let off steam with good big fights. They seek to escape the grim reality and want a good dose of fun and adrenaline without having to rack their brains. He chooses a simple fighting character without taking the time to make it appear super effective. As long as he gets to land the punch, he's happy. Competitively, he hopes to have many opportunities to challenge enemies and show his superiority with muscles. So, obviously, this one's a little bit easier to deal with because you just basically need to make sure there's a little few action scenes in whatever the story you're doing, not necessarily just fights. Avoid overly long dialogue scenes or investigations that require concentration and rigor. The Brawler will quickly get bored and become impatient. Focus on classic plots. Feel free to abuse cliches and stereotypes. And finally, we have the Tactician. So, unlike the Brawler, the Tactician likes complex problems and, above all, realistic ones. He wants the rules and the game's master's interpretation of them to coincide with reality as he knows it, or at least the coherence and logic are still in order. He considers the quality of his decisions as the most determining factor of the success or failure of his actions. For him, there is always a right and a wrong way to act. Roleplay is secondary for him, and he quickly gets annoyed when other players make decisions consistent with their character's personality, but tactically disadvantageous. So once again, you have to make sure that the rule system is used as well developed and focuses on realism. The Tactician will be disoriented or uncomfortable in system with rules focusing on other subject interpretations of results. Prepare difficulty but logical obstacles for his character to overcome, so like puzzles, combat situations in which the use of environment is a key factor in success, and review the rules well before the game. The Tactician is likely to ask many technical questions and will not be satisfied if you constantly have to consult the manuals during the game. So, those three kind of make sense? So do you think any three of those...
Any three? No. I mean, I think pieces of each, but no specific.
Can you clear people at the table that?
Yes. Very much so.
Really? Who are you thinking?
Well, some people that used to play and some people that do play with us. I mean, there's the engineer, the power gamer, whatever you want to call it, definitely. The Brawler, not so much. I don't think we've really got anybody I would really consider the Brawler. I think most everybody fits into the engineer version or the...
what's really funny is in the other game I'm playing, I think one of them is a Brawler.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's the tank.
Yeah.
Loves doing damage, and he keeps saying, so weak. Like there's like a weird thing going on there. I'm like, these are all numbers?
Yeah.
I think Drake has part of him as a tactician.
Yeah.
Like, I think the voice of the Tactician has hit a lot of people in the table.
Yeah.
Where you're like, don't do that. You're like,
oh, absolutely.
Because it's like, that's something that comes with experience, right? And you're like, I know this system better. We know the way to do this. We know how to optimize this fight. And then you get like upset when someone's doing the wrong thing.
Irrationally angry.
Let me go run in the cave and announce my presence with thaumaturgy. What?
Hey, we just finished a battle. This is a great time for everybody to split up and go in a different direction.
Let's just go in different directions without resting. So we got people who came there for the game. And what about players who are there for the role? The Specialist. This is a type of player who favors a particular type of character, who they play in all campaigns regardless of the context. This could be the Valiant Knight, the ultra-stealthily ninja, or the forest elf whose companion is a multicolored unicorn. The Specialist wants the rules to support their favorite type of character, but they don't pay much attention to the system used. To make a Specialist happy, you need to create scenes in which their character can do the cool things for which their archetype is known. Drake. The wizard, like the spellcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yes. No. 100%.
If the type of character that the specialist enjoys does not align well with your universe, spend some time finding a way to incorporate it appropriately. Don't force your player to compromise. Take the first steps and be open-minded. Consider including at least one scene in which the specialist character can fully bring their character to life. Yeah, that's...
See, what about when you have a character that can't do or be any of the pillars? Like they're so... They have so little of an imagination that you have to hand them a book and say, you can use the spells in this book.
I mean, he had a little brawler in him.
Yeah.
Because he was like, when he this is the mythical, I choose to attack the player, not the character.
Yes.
He did have, like, if you gave him a simple system that was like, this is a fighter. You swing a sword and the weapon deals more damage die. He was like, I want to look up a table of those weapons.
Yeah.
And the more attacks, the better, or the number grows bigger. Like he would master. He was the kind of guy who would master the simplest class.
Yes.
And then he used that as a hammer to bludgeon everything that became a nail.
Yes.
So I think he did. He dealt with that, but like, you're right. He didn't touch anything else.
No.
It's weird how some people at our table currently, sadly, remind me of him.
Really?
In like an opposite way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the very much like I can only attach to this game in one simple way.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha.
And unfortunately, she is doing it in a different way.
Yes.
But like if you interchange the nouns, it's the same sentence, like, and then I'm like, oh, come on, All right. The actor. The actor sees role-playing primarily as an interactive theater. They strongly identify with the characters they play. They tend to believe that it is creatively important to play a radical different character in each game, and they take a lot of pressure in preparing their character. The actor bases their decisions on their understanding of the character's psychology and can become obstructive if other members of the group expect them to contradict it for rule reasons or in pursuit of a larger objective. They may consider the rule as, at best, a necessary evil, preferring sessions in which the dice never come out of their bags. So while preparing for your game, you have to give the actor an opportunity to play their role by placing events or encounters that will likely test the personality traits of their character. Avoid making them roll the dice too often and reward moments they brilliantly play their character that do not just frustrate the enjoyment of other players. Now, a different side of that same coin is the artist. The artist is close to the actor, but they mainly want to have the opportunity to create the most original character possible. Half the cast of the new Critical Roles.
Tell me about their eyes.
The beautiful eyes. So many discussions of their eyes. They're not satisfied with playing a dwarf warrior or an elf archer. They want to be the orc wizard with a troubled past or the hobbit barbarian initiated in a dark druid circle. They are the engineer of interpretation. They want to interpret a unique and elaborate role, and they will seize every opportunity to add small elements that will make their characters really special. They also want to be able to leave their mark in the world in which their character evolves. They'll be frustrated if they cannot create a unique character or a campaign in which they will not have the opportunity to play an important role and leave a lasting legacy. I think you got a foot in this box.
What?
While preparing your game, be open-minded in character creation and expect the artist to play a character that is likely to be under-optimized. They don't care if mechanically it's not optimal to make a dwarf bard.
It's fun.
Don't penalize them by applying the rules too rigidly. Spend time with the player to understand the concept of their character. Then prepare elements that will reinforce the uniqueness of that character.
Concept.
Give the player the opportunity to feel the character is important in the world and they stand out from common folk.
I feel seen. All right. This is the first one where I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a part, like it's like I said, nobody is 100% anything, but there is a part that this describes usefully to me, And I was like,
it's like, it's bad because sometimes all I want out of a character is the first time we play him, and to see your face and go, "Did you?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and that's all I wanted out of it. Like that moment.
I got what I'm done. I think it's funny because like the actor part of it instead of the artist, like there's a portion of me that is that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like you go back to Clive and Fern.
Yeah.
These characters that we've talked about a lot. You can see like you had to craft something that you were excited about. I felt excited playing a dumb archetype.
Yeah.
So mine was like a cookie cutter type archetype. And I was like, I've never had that cookie before. I want to do that cookie. And you were like, I have made my own cookie.
Yes.
And like a large portion of our excitement was that both
we're going to smush the two cookies together.
We both got to have those cookies at the table at the same time. But like, it was that like there was a different approach to both of our interests in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's move on to players who are there for the story. So the investigator, and we have a lot of people who have a foot in this box, I believe. The investigator is more interested in the narrative than in the rule system, statistics, or experience points. If their character's personality is important, the quality of the story is even more vital to them. They want to be captivated by your intricate plots and secondary characters with varied motivations. They primarily want to understand what's happening. Therefore, they can easily make compromises if it helps advance the plot, and they will get on board during long planning sessions. You can please them by developing plots, creating suspense, and maintaining a steady pace during your games. While preparing your game for an investigator, pay particular attention to the consistency of plots and motivations of secondary characters. The investigator may indeed lose interest if your plot does not hold up. Try to balance the search for clues and the pace of the game. If there are too many leads, the investigator will get lost in the details. If you have time, prepare materials to make the story tangible. Scrolls, props, treasure mats, the investigator will love it. I think we have 3 people have investigator in them on the table. For different reasons, but I think the 3 of you get to that point. Because like I can just... instinctively, I know if I throw down a map, you're going to all return it.
Yeah.
Like, because you're like, I want to see that. Like, I want to, just for different reasons. The explorer. The explorer loves discovering complex imaginary worlds in which they have the opportunity to find hidden treasures and secrets. They also tend to want to discover themselves through the game, easily placing their character in ethical dilemmas. They completely suffocate in campaigns where there are no unknown regions, secrets, or traditions to discover, and no opportunity to learn more about their character. So while preparing for an explorer, bet on exoticism. Expeditions into the jungle, visiting Wonderland, or haunted mansions full of mystery objects. Reward actions related to exploration. The skillful, organized camp that will protect the group from a nocturnal attack. The secret door found just in time because the character was ingenious. Studying wild mushrooms would turn out to be crucial in solving a riddle, etc. Give the explorer an opportunity to reflect on their character by confronting them with a tricky choice. Remember that they are looking to explore the world as much as their character. Like the investigator, value ideas more than dice rolls. But this next one, the conspirator.
We don't have any of these at our table.
The conspirator is more interested in changing the story than understand it. They want to influence events by making sure their version of the story comes to life. This can be perceived by the game master as an attempt to sabotage the scenario, but the conspirator simply wants to actively participate in the narrative dimension of the game. More individualistic than the other types of players, they will enjoy having secrets or hiding things from other characters. In some situations, they may even go as far as betraying their companions. The conspirator is a double-edged sword for the game master. On one hand, it's both inspiring and practical to have a player who engages in the narrative aspects of the game. Their plots can be the beginnings of many scenarios or complement and enrich existing plots. They can also be the ideal player when you need a double agent within the group. Or on the other hand, their enthusiasm or tendency towards duplicity can be particularly harmful to the atmosphere on the table.
I didn't want to say it, but I mean, I don't trust Jason that much.
Jason's a shifty.
Oh, he's so shifty.
While preparing your game for a conspirator, make sure to provide information that only the conspirator possesses. holy crap, if that doesn't just get them chomping at the bit to play a game. Not crucial information. They might keep it to themselves until death. Yes, exactly. Like a whole plot of the whole game and just never got out there. Who knows? Absolutely avoid being dictatorial and be prepared to give some of the reins of the story to the conspirator. This can be intimidating for a novice game master if you don't feel too comfortable. At least plan for a good number of options for resolving conflicts or plots. That's pretty good advice. That was one of the big things I learned working with you on these games was like, I needed to like occasionally go like, all right, what part of this do you want to bite off and hold on to? Like, oh, I really like this idea.
No, not that idea.
Yeah. I think the only problem was I didn't have the person to then focus the group on the rest of it because you were just like, well, I bit this part off and we're really going to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm a simple man. I don't need much.
Well, I'm a simple Southern chicken lawyer.
Yeah. No, I truly enjoy that part of the game. It sucks when we don't have other people that are just like, what's he doing over there? Because we don't, unfortunately. I think we've mentioned it a few times where I don't think I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form at subterfuge. But there are several times where like a spotlight got put on me and literally all I had to do was, what's that over there? And the spotlight went away.
Yeah, I mean, like if a dog had walked up in a world without dogs and you were like, no, that's a cat. You're like, oh, I guess it's a cat. Like I said, the fact that Drake was just like, wow, Grey, did you plan for that great twist? And I'm like, he just lied to you. There was no twist. He just lied straight up. He narrowed the lie as it went down and was like, ooh, this is work.
Dude, I had to move my camera while that was all going on because I was laughing so hard. So I thought I was so hot shit. And then I just realized, no, they just, and it was one of those situations where I think just everybody just, I was the experienced player, so they all just defaulted to whatever I said.
Yeah, I blame Jason a lot for that.
Do you really?
Like, well, because it makes sense out of context for him to default to you a little bit.
Yeah,
because he's got like that little bit of inferiority complex when he's like, "Well, you guys think too much ahead and all this." And like, whatever, have fun at the.
He does it too. Like, it's,
yeah.
I don't know why he thinks that. There have been plenty of times where we all just sat there and went, "What the fuck, Jason?" And he's like, "What?"
Yeah. No, absolutely, but like because he like vocalized some of that. He's like, look, I'm just following Owen because of this. I think the other two players just got in their head of like, oh, that's what the table should do.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's been a habit that we've been trying to break from them. I have ideas which we'll get into, but anyway, yeah. So, okay, let's wrap this up with, before we kind of go a little more self-introspective, with players who are there for others. So these archetypes are pretty interesting. This one kind of leads out to me, the leader. There's often a player who has more influence than others due to their natural charisma or due to their gaming experience. They are a dynamic player who takes initiative both on the logistical and operational and narrative levels. They are often the most experienced player in the group. They are both a mentor and a coordinator. They do not overshadow others. They want to have everyone have their pace and enjoy an enjoyable evening. That people have served as that person many times.
Mm-hmm. I hate being that person.
I know. Like, it is a role that you've taken consistently for the past 4-ish years.
Yeah.
And like you've been looking for a way out the whole time. The diplomat. The diplomat is interested in the social dimension of role-playing game. They appreciate camaraderie among characters and players. They enjoy teamwork and having the feeling of being part of something bigger than themselves. Their enjoyment will be spoiled by conspiracies between characters, betrayals, or anything that will make the group members turn against each other, which is called good playing.
Yeah.
And finally, the dilettante. Also known as the casual player, the dilettante plays the role-playing game because others are playing. They might as well play a game of Catan, Time's Up, or poker. While not particularly involved, closer to the spectator than an active player, they play an important role in the interpersonal dynamics of the group itself. They easily compromise and can be the moderator of more assertive personalities. Their characters often complement the others, which is practical in a system that requires a certain number of classes. Missing a thief or warrior? No problem, they'll make one. It would be nice if there was an elf in the group. That's cool, they'll play an elf. Accommodating, they do not want to make an effort. Don't ask them to ingest a big rulebook or to interpret a complex personality. Above all, don't put them in the spotlight. They hate that.
That's the I'm just glad to be here person.
And that was something that Jason was for a while.
Yeah.
And then he kind of learned to want more.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's kind of pushed out of that. And Jason's also been in a leadership position.
Yeah.
Which
he does not like it.
No.
He does not like it at all.
So great. So yeah, as we said, none of these are ironclad, like these are the way the world works, you're one of these. But these are all things to think about you and your players at the table to help you understand, like, hey, if you notice some of these trends, then that also kind of gives you an idea of how to help them get involved in the game. Because ultimately, there's only two types of players at the table that really matter, and that's active players and passive players. And the more active players you can have, the more fun you're going to have. So if you can transition a passive player to being active, you are doing the right thing. So, did you learn anything about yourself in the...
No, nothing.
Oh,
I'm going to continue to bash my head against the wall, doing the same things I've always done, and not understand why we're not having a good time.
Why aren't we having a good time? So I got a question. Just based on that list, what do you think I am?
You are...
Well, a couple of them probably.
Yes, very much so. So taken from many of them, not just this previous list, you are a bit of the brawler.
Yep, I like to punch stuff.
You are a bit of the leader.
Mm-hmm.
You are a bit of the, what was it called? Like the actor?
Yeah.
You are a bit of the engineer. You are a bit of the, what was the last one? Not the last one, but you like to scheme and like the conspirator. You like to do, you don't like it. It's not as much of a focus for you as it is for me, but you do it.
Oh yeah. No, I think so. I think, and this is kind of maybe a little inside baseball for me, but I think that my chief thing, I think brawler is a good, like there's a part of me that really wants to, so there's a part of me deep down that wants to simplistically crush something, be the bigger thing and stomp on it.
Well, it's like, I can't think of how many times in multiplayer games we've played, RPGs that we've played, where you're just like, I want to be the dude with the huge sword and the shield.
Yeah. And there's something from growing up with people that were like, I always thought were more complex than me.
Mm.
Like I said, there's this whole it's not that I don't want to say they were smarter than me, but I don't think that's accurate. I think they were more sophisticated than me, and like that always kind of led me to this thing where the one thing that you get told really as a big kid is that like you hurt, like you have the ability to hurt people, so you shouldn't. And like, I always thought that is what you're supposed to do, but there's this downside where
you're supposed to hurt people.
No, what you're supposed to do is not hurt people. Yes. But the downside to that is not enough people tell smart kids that they're not supposed to hurt people. Mm. So when the clever kid meets the big, strong, dumb kid, the clever kid doesn't get in trouble for screwing with the big, strong, dumb kid.
Yeah.
But the big, strong, dumb kid, the second he touches the clever kid, he gets in trouble. Mm. And I think that one of our duties is to like even that playing field. Because
with violence.
With violence. Well, no, just like with you have to recognize a bully no matter what they use as a bully.
So what I propose is if you see a situation where someone is using their intelligence to belittle, demean, or just, hurt someone's feelings, the person who's being hurt should be able to punch that person.
It's like
Just once.
Just once. But it's the litmus test. Like there's someone in my continuous life who I believe like has this tendency to do that. And I always say, like, my question to them, if I ever have to say, is like, how would you feel if I was allowed to equally express my domineering traits to, like, would you think you would walk out of the room? Like, and we both know that's not fair. And I'm not mean. I don't want to, but like, think about that. Think of like that thing of like, you're using something you're good at to hurt a person. And the problem is the thing you're using is kind of more acceptive.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of times in games, the result of me growing up with that is like, I want to play someone who's going to hurt somebody. And like that person. And I think the second part of that is where you get the actor is like, I want to have a good reason to feel good about hurting a person.
I have to create those wounds that you're going to poke at.
Yeah.
And make sure they're visible and easy to get at. So I can in turn create your wounds.
Gotta be justified in some way. But so if I take that part of my like deep self and we understand that that's like the simplistic part, the other side of me is that I am a person who very much is, I say this is demeaning myself too much. I don't think I'm very creative in comparison. I don't think I'm very creative. I think what I do is I blend things together and I basically say like, oh, I've experienced all this stuff and I blend it together and I spit it out in a different format. And I think because of that, I see something and I'm like, I want to be that one time. Like, I want to be the paladin one time. I want to be the ranger one time. I want to be the conspirator one time. And I don't often have like a consistency to keep going back to that thing. But I absolutely, when I get introduced to it, I want to do it once. And sometimes you pick a little piece of that and carry it with you forward where you're like, ooh, that was fun to like lie a little bit. And let me put that in something in the future. Ooh, that was fun to like subvert expectations a little bit, And so like, that's a thing where just across the board, I'm envious of everyone. So like, if I see something done well, I'm like, I want to do that, If I see someone take a 40K tournament out of the box or army out of the box, I'm like, I want that one too. And the shelf grows.
You could literally build a house with the boxes of plastic you have.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's a different kind.
Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, I was just hoping there, the apocalypse comes and breaks down all form of communications and we have to go to a barter system that I'm just like, I am the king. You want the archaic plastic knowledge, you must come to me.
I have gray wolves in which I wish to trade. Oh, are those the furry ones? No!
Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, we all feel better about ourselves today.
Do we?
Not really. No. It was an interesting insight. I enjoyed it. No, I don't have any complaints. I'm being morose on purpose.
I know. In the context we understand, it fits.
Yes.
In the specific context of this, hey, look back to previous podcasts.
Yeah.
All right, guys. On that note, I think we're going to leave it there.
Yeah. Goodbye.
See you.